Hey y'all, it's August the 21st, 2017. Y'all, I got just done watching a video by one of the best to ever do it on YouTube. Understand this. Goes by the name of Celeste. Who knows? She's on the YouTube. Who knows how big she is upon the internet? She puts out very quality content. I left a link below to her latest video. And I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to respond to it a little bit. First of all, there's a couple different parts to this video, but I wanted to mention as far as her needing to contact her father or wondering, what people think, should she contact her father, should she not? Um, Either way, to me, honestly, either way. Thing is, I think it's very important that her father sees the video, right? If not that he hears it from her mouth, everything she entailed on the video in question. Or you could just make sure you could call Brett up and say, hey, look, Brett, make sure this guy sees this video and then report back to me. That would be good enough. If what you're saying in the previous video is sincere, and I feel like it was, that will be good enough. All right, because basically you put the ball in your father's court, so to speak. But not only that, I don't want to leave that by itself, because also I do feel like it's very important. Maybe your mother has seen the video. She needs to see the video. She absolutely needs to see the video. All right, that's crucial that they both see it because they're both equally as important. Now, there was a second part of the video in which Celeste was talking about, a little while back when she was going to interview a lady by the name of Daphne, who, if you're familiar, she would be the older sister to Tammy Michelle, who is the mother to a young girl who lost her life late last year. Everybody's very interested in the situation. So, Daphne, who's the older sister to Tammy, basically a mother figure in her life, from what I understand, she was going to come on the internet. She was going to talk to Celeste, who knows, exclusively, and basically put it out on the internet that pretty much a lot of people on the internet were hating on her family, hating on them very bad. And the thing is, what she wanted to express was that the hate that wasn't helping, all right? And so she wanted to pretty much ask people or beg people or yell at people I really don't know. She wanted to basically come on the internet and say, "Hey, please, please stop hating on us. It's not helping the situation." All right. I want to say, obviously I can understand the logic in her wanting to do that, because any one of us in her position, if we were in that position, we might do some similar thing. We might not want people hating all on our family. Irregardless, though, you do have to understand that hate obviously is not going to solve a problem, right? Obviously, it's not. Hate never makes the issue better and stuff. So if Daphne, rest her soul, if Daphne was to come on the internet and say, "Oh, hate's not solving this problem," the thing is, that's not a new thing. Of course, hate's not going to solve a problem. I can only imagine that her mission would be to have people kind of tone down their hateful rhetoric towards her family. And like I said, although I can't blame her, I wanted to talk for y'all, or I wanted to talk with y'all a little bit about how none of that makes sense, basically. Because here's the thing. Of course you don't want people hating your family. Of course Daphne wouldn't want all sort of hateful comments being made towards her sister and so on and so forth. Of course that's the case, all right? But however, what are you going to do about it would be my question. Now, obviously she passed on, like I said, rest her soul. So she can't answer that question, but my question would have been, what are you going to do about it? Right. I know that you're not going to start campaigning in order to stop the hate or whatever. And I hear about these sort of movements. Oh, we must stop the hate. We must stop hate. We must stop all the hate right now. Right. Meanwhile, though, you look back, if you just take one step back, you understand that hate has been existing in the world. from what we can understand, since before books were written. A long time. A long time. So, I can only imagine what is the way that we're going to combat hate? How are we going to do that? Is it going to be through money? Is it going to be through rallies and holding up signs? Stopping hate, something that's always existed. Is that what we're going to do? And then if you go off on a tangent in that regard, you can go on and say people are very concerned about bullying, especially on the internet. Because when they experience hate on the internet, usually they'll refer to that as bullying as well. They'll say we need to stop the bullying. How? All right, I'm being dead serious, and I would love for you to answer me. Quite simply, how? I'm going to stop the bullying. Right? When you consider that bullying has existed since before books were written, a long, long time. I don't care if it's in your school. I don't care if it's in people's homes. I don't care if it's at the church or wherever else. As much as I don't like it, maybe you don't like it, bullying has always existed, will always exist. So, what are you going to do about it? That's what I'm asking. It's a question that you're sincerely going to avoid, and I know you will. Right? But I mean, I'm not talking to Daphne, obviously, but for others out there who do want to combat hate, who do want to combat bullying, obviously they're going to go after the First Amendment. That's the first thing that they'll ever go after, right? Because there is no other way. You would have to attack the First Amendment. That is the only way to combat hate and bullying, right? Meanwhile, I guess we'll just leave off on this. I mean, earlier I made a video about people wanting justice. I don't care if you're in the family. I don't care if you're a friend to the family. I don't care if you don't even know the family. If you're out here looking for some sort of justice, you feel like somebody's been wronged out here, you might want to look in the mirror real quick, right? Because if you're going to stand around pointing at everybody else saying, oh, you know what, y'all are helping the situation. Y'all are helping the situation. Y'all are guilty. This person's guilty. That person's guilty. You're not going to get nowhere because ain't nobody going to see a jail out this, right? You could look inside yourself and perhaps ask, and of course most people won't. Most people absolutely will not look inside themselves and ask, well, well, how am I messed up in all this? How was I slipping? Right? I'm over here simple as hell. All right, to be honest with you, I ain't no genius. All right, I don't purport to be one. However, this little girl was surrounded in all sort of obstacles, Katelyn Nicole, to include premarital sex everywhere she went. I know there's a book out there that tells you that's a sin. Oh, forget that book. Who cares about that book, all right? But this little girl was surrounded by it all over the place. Not only that, she was being brought up in certain scenarios where it seems as though men, father figures, were not necessary. Do I need to keep going on and on? That was the situation, not only in Daphne's situation, but in Tammy's situation. And I do know some of their family background, and it is unfortunate. All right, but what it came down to is that a father figure was no longer necessary in that situation. Therefore, the chain of love, which a lot of y'all think I'm making up, you can do whatever you like. All right, it goes from God to Jesus to man to wife to children. It does go in that order. And when you mess that up, guess what? A lot of people are going to wind up wilding out. Right? A lot of people are going to lose faith. Why? Because you just grow up and you want a father figure in your life. Why? Because that person keeps you safe. That person lets you know that what, there is somebody who's got your back all the time. All right. These little children grow up without that, and it proves to be disastrous. That's only one of the ways in which people inside and outside of the situation are absolutely guilty themselves. You know what I'm saying? I hate to sound so brash as to say this, but I really have no choice. And in that, Daphne was about to come out and spout her mouth out about how people need to stop hate. Good luck. Good luck stopping hate. All right. How people need to stop the hate, and everybody's guilty except for her, probably. She probably was not going to admit any sort of guilt on her own behalf. Meanwhile, her own children did not have their father around. No, there was not going to be any sort of internal reflection and inspection on her own lifestyle. There was going to be none of that. There was going to be pointing at other people, talking about how they're trolls, talking about how they're hateful, talking about how maybe they don't need their First Amendment. You know what I'm saying? And it's not within your First Amendment to threaten people's lives. Might I just remind everybody? So if you're talking about hate speech, I do have to ask you what it is you're talking about. People's opinions. Was Daphne going to come out and talk about the fact that people don't deserve to express their opinions on this situation? Was that what she was going to say before she unfortunately passed away for everybody to see? I'm sorry, y'all. I just happen to see signs when I see them. You know, I recognize them when I see them. She was about to do something horribly mixed up and upside down, backwards, completely backwards on the internet. She didn't even make it to that point. Rest her soul. All condolences due to her family. But this is a situation everybody is going to be made an example of in and around this situation. I think our best bet, something that most people won't listen to, is to look at our own selves. I don't care who you are in the situation. Ask yourself how you're guilty. Ask yourself how you can make up for it. Or else we're going to see a whole lot of very unfortunate situations that's out of my control, that's out of any of our control. Meanwhile, it's a tribulation. We're balls deep in it. So I'll holler at y'all later. It's August the 21st, 2017. It is completely impossible to ban hate. Good luck. I hope y'all raise a lot of money. It's impossible to ban bullying. I hope y'all get a lot of money for that too. All right. How are we responsible? I'll holler at y'all.